All right, so we're back here now, and I've got all my knots tied, and they are all pretty much at about the same length. They're not perfect, but they're pretty close, and the stretchiness of the magnetic ties will make up for any lag. So now we're going to start using these magnetic ties, and as you can see, they like to just all glom together. So I'm just going to take one off. And they are going to want to glom together when you're using them too, but once you get tension on them, they're going to stay put. So there's your tie, and you can make a circle, or you can have them done so that they are like an oval. Now you definitely want your warp to be, or your loop to be in a circle, because you want this part to be nice and flat, because when you get it onto your back warping stick here, and you get them attached, you want that back to lay flat against the back warping stick, so that when you wind onto the front beam, these two knobs will be sandwiched between the warping stick and the beam, so that you don't get as many lumps. Now let's actually join them here. So I take my first bundle, I'm separating the slots from the holes, I'm putting my magnetic cable tie through, and then I'm going to attach it to my back warping stick, making sure that it's in a circle. Now, if I have too much tension on here now, these are going to start popping off. If I don't have enough tension on, as you're going to see soon, they're going to all glom together. Don't worry about that glomming together. As soon as you add tension, you'll be able to separate them out and they will behave. But until they're under tension, they won't behave. So you can see that they already want to glom together. Now, once you get good at this and you sort of feel confident, you can add a little extra tension when you're adding the ties. But for now, just keep the tension nice and loose and just go along and attach them all. Remember that you want them attached in a circle, not in an oval. And see, even if I separate them, they're going to glom together. As I said, we are not going to worry about that at all. So I'm just taking one bundle, separating the slots and holes, putting my cable tie through the space there, and joining them together. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to do that all the way across the loom, and then we're going to add some tension, and I'll show you how the shed is once these are all on. I have all my ties on now, and as you can see, they have glommed together, but I've got almost no tension on here either. So I'm going to tighten my tension a smidge. I don't want to tighten it too much because those magnets, while they're strong, they are not earth magnets. They will come undone if they get too much pressure on them. And now I'm just going to start separating them out and laying them nice and flat behind that warping stick. Oh, these guys are causing more trouble than they usually do. Add a little more tension and see if that helps. So it is a bit of a process. I'm having a little bit of troubles here because I'm trying not to get my hands too in front of the camera. Obviously, when you have full freedom of hand movement, it's a little bit easier to do this. There we go. Oops. And they are magnets, and magnets do want to stick to each other. Once you get going though and everything's in place, nothing's going to move anymore and you will be safe. So occasionally I've started weaving and realized that one bundle was a little bit too loose compared to its neighbor. And so I've got a bundle with less tension. It is possible to untie those knots and retie them after you've started weaving. Once your ties are wrapped around the front warping stick or the front beam, it's a little more difficult, but it can actually still be done. So there's virtually nothing that can't be fixed if you're willing to put the effort in with weaving. I hope you like the squawks and sound effects here. Those guys really want to stick together. There we go. If you find they keep wanting to stick together, just pull your magnets apart and make sure that the circle is complete so that your ties, if you look here, they're going straight across. So not angled like so, but a nice, smooth, complete circle. And that does help them stay better behaved. Oops. Wait, I'm just going to add a little bit more tension. But again, I don't want to add too much because those magnets will pull apart. And then if I just check the tension, everything does feel really good. I can add my 2 warping sticks in now to spread the warp. And then when I put my up shed up, my holes, of course, are nice and tight because the holes are always nice and tight. And when I put it into my down shed, my slots are also nice and tight and they'll look even better. We'll just zoom right in there, but they will look even better once those warping sticks are in there. So I'm not going to have that loose, sloppy shed that I would often have with a standard tie-on with the surgeon's knots that I normally do.